just checking in on you. We're going to have a lovely yoga practice today. Always listen to your body, take breaks when you need, rest in a seat and child's pose, whatever calls to you and your breath. I would recommend having 2 blocks and perhaps a strap placed up towards the top of your mat. We're going to start today in tabletop, so go ahead and come to a tabletop shape and then bring the toes together, the knees go wide, and you're going to settle back into your child's pose. You may cross at the elbows and rest your forehead on your forearms, or if you'd like, you can extend those arms long. We're going to take a nice deep in-breath here in through our nose, and go ahead and release it out the mouth. On your next in-breath, close the lips and take that breath in through the nose, and I want you to pay extra attention to the space in your back. Fill it up. As you exhale, soften the space in the backside of the body. On your next in-breath, fill up the breath with the ribs moving laterally away from the midline. Expand side to side. And then exhale, soften back to the center. Now this time it's a little harder to access because your belly's there and your thighs are there, your hips are compressed, but go ahead and take that breath into the belly. Feel that expansion, the diaphragm descends, it's like a cute little balloon in your belly, and then exhale. The diaphragm ascends and you soften into the front space. Now combine all 3, fill up, back, sides, front. And then exhale, release. On your next in-breath, reach those arms long if they're not already there. Press yourself up into a tabletop shape. Bring the knees a little closer together under the hips. Take a moment here just to settle in on your hands. Untuck the toes. Let's begin. Taking an in-breath, feeling the length of the spine, crown of the head reaching out away from the tailbone. Exhale, allow the breath to release, the tail tucks, the back domes and rounds, and you drop the head, ears rest in between your biceps, and then you find the opposite position. You in-breath, you extend, you elongate. Imagine pulling hands towards your belly button to shine your heart forward and open your throat. And then neutralize the spine, exhale, push back, child's pose. Continuing, inhale, float up. Riding the wave of your breath. Exhale, scoop through that beautiful abdominal dome and round. Inhale, extend, elbow soft, heart open. And then push back. Exhale, child's pose. One last time here, please, just exploring your pacing, your breath. Exhale, scooping, doming, rounding. Inhale, extend. And exhale, push back. Now loves, on this one, go ahead and come up into that tabletop shape. And we're going to add rotation of the spine. So you're going to, when you're ready, you're going to float the left arm up, pressing down through the right hand to lift that left arm a bit higher. You exhale, thread it through, reaching, reaching, reaching. We're not going to settle here yet. We're going to in-breath, come back up, your pace. You may be slower, you may be faster. Exhale. And we'll take one more here, please. In breath. On this next one, we will settle. You're going to drop the left ear down towards the mat or on a block. Left shoulder eases towards the floor. In breath, fill up the upper back. Feel the shoulders separate with breath. And then exhale, soften. On your next in breath, float it up. Left hand reaching, kickstand the right chin out to the side. Left leg floats long. Actively through that left outer edge of your foot. Gaze can float up towards the left fingertips. And then we press up and over, sending our gaze down towards the floor. As you exhale, float back up. In breath, lengthen through the side body. Push through that outer edge of your foot to lift the hips a little higher. And one more time here, please. Lift, float, reach. And then coming back to center. As you're ready, we either stay here or we begin to float that left leg up. And you're feeling a lot of length through both the front and the back side of the leg. You can settle your gaze down on the floor, soft bend through that right elbow. Take one more inhale here, and one more exhale. As you're ready, left hand floats down. If the left foot is lifted, you sweep it forward or just step it forward. Hands can come to frame out the left foot up on your blocks or on the floor. Start to settle into that hip, rocking forward and rocking back. Be gentle and easy with your hip. Just notice without judgment how the pelvis feels, how the low back feels. And then once you feel settled, you stay. Hands can stay on the blocks or you float those arms up into your low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Reaching fingertips wide and lifting and extending through the side body. Now take one more in-breath here, floating, lifting. One more exhale here. On your next in-breath, loop your left hand around the right wrist and add that lateral side body stretch, lifting up and over. Think about extending and lengthening through both sides of the body and then softening into that hip. Take one more in-breath. And then as you exhale, come back to center, floating that right hand down onto the block or to the floor. Tuck your back toe under. As you're ready, inhale, lift the back knee up, engage the leg. Exhale, rotate the spine, sending that left arm up. Take an inhale here. Take an exhale and twist and try to work the shoulder back while keeping your pelvis level. Yes, beautiful love. Take one more in-breath and one more exhale. On your in-breath, we float that left hand down and we're going to pivot towards the center of our thighs, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Now, loves, your toes are going to turn to face the same direction, and this is where you can just explore. Maybe bend one knee at a time, finding a little mini side lunge. Maybe you're grabbing opposite elbows here, or just playing around with shifting forward and back. We'll take one more inhale, and one more exhale. When you're ready, we'll go ahead and walk our hands back towards the left foot, the front foot, and then let's step our right foot to meet left, coming into our first forward fold. Knees are bent to facilitate a little more mobility in the low back. Grab opposite elbows here and surrender to gravity as you sway. Side to side, maybe gently nodding the head, yes. And then no. When you're ready, floating those hands down to the blocks or to the floor. Take an in-breath and now lengthen both legs. Feel that big stretch in the backs of your thighs. Bend the knees. As you exhale, scoop the abdominals, and we're going to slowly reverse articulate the spine, stacking our low back. Bone by bone, mid-back, and our upper back. Coming up into a standing upright position. As you're ready, take an in-breath. Sink the hips back. Arms float overhead, finding your chair pose. Hands can also be at heart center. When the arms are overhead, I want you to float the thumbs up. Really work through the backs of the shoulders. Belly strong. Take an in-breath here. And as you exhale, push up through the feet. Reach up, rise up. Watch out for the trees. Open your chest. And then circle those arms back down as you exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. In-breath, sink, settle. Exhale, push to the feet, lengthen the sides. And then as you in-breath, open your arms, or maybe take a little back bend. And then settle the arms down. One last time. In-breath, sink, bend the knees deeply. Feel your hips hinge. Exhale, push up, reach up, rise up. Open the arms. And settle down. On this next one, float and extend, reaching those arms or bringing them here. Let's add rotation. Left arm sweeps back as you exhale. In-breath back to center. Now right arm reaches back. Lift it back up to center. As you're ready, in breath. Exhale, dive over the legs. Knees can remain really bent. Shake your head. One quick yes, and one gentle nod no. Plant the hands, step your left and your right foot back to your first downward facing dog of the day. Now loves, explore this downward facing dog. You may also take child's pose or seat. But if you'd like, you can prance the knees, you can wiggle the hips. It's your practice. Beautiful, loves. Take one more breath here. Maybe settling into stillness. And then on your next in-breath, come on down to that tabletop. Exhaling as you land. Untucking the toes. Let's move into the other side. Right arm floats up. Inhale. Exhale, thread it through. We're not settling just yet. In breath. Exhale. Reach, reach, reach. In breath. And this time we will settle. Allow that right ear to rest on the mat, to hang in suspension, or to settle on your block. Take one in breath here. Breathe into the back side of the body. One exhale here. On your in breath, we float back up. Steady your gaze down towards the floor. Kickstand the left shin out to the side. Reach that right leg long. You're in your modified side plank. When you're ready, in breath, float up and over. Gaze settles towards the left hand. Exhale, rainbow back to center. Gaze floats up if it feels friendly. In breath. Exhale, really pushing to the outer edge of that foot. Last time here, please. And then float it up. From here, stay, or if it feels friendly, float that back leg up. Ardha Chandrasana, our kneeling half moon. Take an in breath here. As you exhale, float that right hand down. Spin the right foot forward, coming into that low lunge on this side. Ease into it. There's no rush. Hands can be on your blocks. I always use my blocks in this pose. It helps me find a longer spine. So even though my hands want to feel like that I want to feel that extra support for balance with my hands on the ground, it just lifts the floor up to my hands. Once you feel settled and steady, stay here. Or float those arms up. Fingertips spread wide, lift up and out of the pelvis. And then exhale, soften into that hip. Inhale. Exhale. Now on your next in breath, you're going to loop the right hand around the left wrist. And we're going to add that little lateral stretch. When you're ready, take your time floating back to center. Circle those hands down. This time, as you inhale, tuck the back toes under. Lift that back knee up off the ground. Left hand can be on the block or on the floor. Now we twist. Feeling that twist from the belly button up, working the shoulder back. Take one more inhale. And one more exhale. Allow the right hand to drop to the floor. Pivot towards the center of your legs. Your second time through your wide-legged forward fold. You can be in the center, playing with a small bend side to side, a little mini skandasana. If you're going to take a fuller skandasana, start to turn those toes out. It's going to give you a little more space so the toes turn out. Yeah, that's it. Or you can just settle in with pulling the shoulders away from the ears so the neck doesn't feel as crowded. One more in breath. And one more exhale. As you're ready, float yourself up, rotate back towards the right foot, and then step left towards right, coming into your forward fold. Take a beautiful in breath and float the legs long. Exhale, slowly roll up, nice and slow, stacking the spine, bone by when you arrive at the top, roll those shoulders up, back, and down. And then let's heel toe the feet wide. Coming into a malasana, a little yogi squat. Now you're going to settle down here. You may also use your blocks under your pelvis for a more restorative variation. Your toes are turned out. I always notice here, I start to round my spine. I want you to think about this as a right side up happy baby. So think about pulling your sternum closer to your thumbs. And again, you can go wider here and use your elbows. Beautiful, loves. Let's take one more inhale. And one more exhale. When you're ready, taking your time, floating the hands down. We'll pivot our left foot and our right foot, stepping back into our down dog. As you're ready, lower down to your knees. Toes touch, knees go wide, find your child's pose. Now I'm going to take you through a spinal wave into a cobra shape. If you have any unfriendliness in your low back when you move through spinal extension, just come into your cat-cow or stay in your child's pose or seat. I'll talk you through it if you want to take it. We're going to take an in-breath. We're going to start to activate the arms. And then as you exhale, you float the pelvis up and you come into that round back position that we found in our cat stretch. Your feet separate. As you inhale, you lower the pelvis down, and then you lift and extend the spine, shoulders away from the ears. You exhale, push back, toes touch. Settle. We'll do that 2 more times here, please. In breath. Exhale, scoop, dome, roll, separate the feet. Lift and extend the spine. Collarbones are broad. And then push back. And we'll take one more here, or take your cat-cow. Exhale, scooping, doming, separating the feet, lifting and extending. And let's hold here. As you're ready, we lower down bone by bone onto our belly. Now, loves, you can take a cheek. Take one cheek to the mat. Palms can face up. You can wiggle your heels or maybe bend at the knees, windshield wipering. Settle into your breath. Beautiful, loves. As you're ready, go ahead and center the chin or the forehead. Come onto your forearms. Elbows are next to your ribs. Fingertips are close to your ears or your shoulders, whatever feels good for you. Your feet are as wide as your hips. We're going to press the shoelace portion of the feet down so you feel your quadriceps lift. And then anchor your pubic bone down. So imagine your pubic bone, you're like digging a garden, and your pubic bone's a shovel, but the ground is pretty like rocky, and so it gets stuck as soon as you insert that shovel. That's what I want you to imagine, a stuck shovel. And then from there, the abdominals are strong, you're connected, and you float your chest up into your thoracic extension. Imagine pulling hands towards your belly button to feel a little more length in the spine. Reaching from the crown of the head and then slowly rolling down bone by bone. Soften the legs, soften the body, and then reconnect. Press the feet, press the pubic bone, lift and extend, shoulder blades down, away from the ears, and then lower down bone by bone. Now on this next one, you may move up into a fuller cobra if it feels friendly for you. Otherwise, stay with that. If you're going to take cobra, take those fingertips a little wider so you got a W shape with your elbows. Press the pubic bone. Lift and extend first, thoracic extension, and then you engage the abdominals more. Begin to lengthen the arms. I want you to still feel that sensation of hands pulling towards your belly button. So you're reaching that chest forward, and then you lower down bone by bone. Whew, a lot of work in that. Let's do it one more time. Your choice. In breath. Exhale, scoop the abdominals. And then lower down bone by Beautiful, loves. From here, take those arms out to a T. Your left hand's gonna press in towards your left shoulder, bend through your left knee, and roll over onto your right shoulder. Your left hand can reach back and grab the top of the foot, kicking so that you're finding a little extra stretch through your thigh and through your hip. Or you can just let it rest. The foot can just rest. Left hand can stay here or go behind. Feel that stretch in your chest. And then release and unwind. Coming back to center. And let's do the other side. Right knee bends. Float up and over. Stay here. Or reach back. Kick, kick, kick. And then as you're ready, unwind and release. For our final back bend, we'll do that bow pulling pose, grabbing both heels or both feet, not heels, both feet. If it's not friendly, you may just do one, or you can come back to where we just were. Wherever you are, begin to inhale and find that extension. If you're taking both feet, kick, kick, kick. Pubic bone is still digging, your shovel is still stuck. And then lower down. Beautiful. Take the opposite cheek, arms at your sides. Wiggle those heels or bend through the knees, windshield lightly. Once you feel settled, press up onto your hands and knees. Coming onto your forearms, just give your back a moment to settle here. And we'll finish class with our pigeon pose. When you feel rested and recovered, you're gonna press that right knee towards your right wrist. Send that left leg back long. Please feel free to have your blocks under your hands. You may also bend that knee out to the side. This can be lovely. And then wherever you are, perhaps you start to explore hinging forward. And again, there's no goal. In our yoga practice, we combine both effort, intention, and ease in every shape that we make. And we often default to one or the other. You'll know which one you default to. Do you default to that effort, that like push, 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 or softness? Just explore like the negotiation. See if you can find a little more of the one you don't default to. So, for a lot of us, I feel like it's ease. So see if you can unclench your jaw, open your palms. Ease, sukha, it doesn't mean a lack of intensity. It means steadiness within intensity. So your breath is constant. You're finding softness even when things are a little stormy. And now if you'd like to add rotation in your pigeon, I like to use the block underneath my ear, but you'll just send your left arm under and find that threading action we found earlier in class. Softening the left shoulder down as you ease into the hips. And if you've taken that twist, you can slowly begin to unwind, lifting yourself up. And now love's your choice. Feel free to just stay in your pigeon for a little longer. Or if you'd like, you can start to kick that back heel in, reaching back with your left hand, and finding a little quadricep stretch as you start to level the hips. So what I'm playing with here, without judgment, is just pulling my left hip forward so my pelvis remains aligned. And then unwind when you're ready. Swing that leg, other side. Come on in. This side might feel different, no judgment, just the body so body. two sides are not balanced, that's a myth. Feel free to bend that knee. And then as you feel ready, maybe play around with hinging. Open palms, relaxed jaw. Steady, even breath, slowing it down. And then as you're ready, if you want to play with that twist, you'll thread the right arm under, resting right here on your block, on a pillow, on the floor, whatever you've got. Sometimes I like to just add a little massage in my forearms here. As you feel ready and satisfied, you can start to unwind or stay there. If you'd like, you can begin to kick that back heel in, taking that right hand towards the top of your right foot, your ankle, and then working to level the hips. Try and pull that right hip forward as you kick. Take one more breath. And slowly come out. Swinging that leg forward. And we'll make our way down onto our backs. Okay guys, we're settling into our last portion of class. Feel free, if you have any sort of final cool down you'd like to do, a twist, getting upside down, please feel free to do it. Otherwise, I'll take you through one active bridge pose. Bring the heels in line with the sits bones, arms are active. Begin to curl that tail up and roll the pelvis, the low back, the mid back, up into your bridge. Try to make sure your chin's not jutting up towards the ceiling. I always kind of have to adjust so my chin is in a neutral position. It gives my neck a chance to just rest and not be super arched. Still feel the big toe mounds of your feet so the inner thighs stay connected, and maybe interlace those fingers underneath your back. And as you do, just feel the strength in the back side of the body. If you've taken that grasp underneath you, go ahead, release those arms. As we inhale, we'll float our arms up overhead. And as you exhale, you'll stretch the spine, rolling down, stretching away from the fingers. And then bring the knees in, grab outer edges of the feet, find your happy baby, malasana. You can grab the outer thighs, whatever feels nice for you. And then take anything else you need, a gentle twist, a bound ankle, and we'll all make our way into Shavasana. You can just pause from here, take your rest. I hope you have a lovely rest of